Apocalypse. Angel just got cast. I know you're a big fan of the Archangel storyline.
Yeah.
What are you most interested in exploring in that storyline?
Well, you know, it's a tricky thing without giving anything away, which I can't do. But you know, I just the recruitment of the Four Horsemen is very cool, and it's very interesting the way that he does that. You know, the idea of finding, you know, the way that cult leaders do. They find people that are in need of something and try to fulfill that thing in them. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. As it relates to every one of the horsemen.
One of the other interesting things about Apocalypse as a character is the idea that he can manipulate molecules and sort of can appear as anything.
Yeah.
So is it a fun idea for you as an actor that possibly you could be portraying this one godlike entity and all of these multiple forms, the technology allows anything?
Absolutely, and at the same time figuring out what the limits are and, you know, how much, you know, how it relates to how he moves and how he, what it costs him, and you know, that's always a fun thing. So to be able to sit with Simon Kinberg and just go through it and be like, well, what about this? Being a fan, being like, okay, well, you know, this is something that he does in the comics, and is there a way to incorporate this? Or if he has this power suddenly, how do we make that not come out of nowhere, and how do we make that pay off? So it's really fun to map that thing out. But yes, you know, the nature of how his powers manifest themselves is to a certain extent quite open to interpretation, you know, because there's so many and they're so vast.
Yeah, and it's an interesting challenge, I would imagine, to sort of tap into a character that is powerful enough to overpower all of these incredibly powerful X-Men. I don't even know how you start to imagine what that would be. Is it just Stalin? Or
oh, you mean as a person?
Yeah.
I know, you know, I think for me it's definitely much more about the biblical apocalypse and the revelation.
Yeah.
And the idea, I mean, have you heard the song, Johnny Cash song, When the Man Comes Around?
I've heard every Johnny Cash song.
So When the Man Comes Around, that's what, you know, I think we're trying to channel with Apocalypse.
And you said it means, I thought this was fascinating. I read that it meant, that you had mentioned that it means to reveal.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before.
It's not, we associate it so strongly with destruction, but it's actually to lift back the curtain.
So what is it lifting back the curtain on and revealing about human nature?
Well, I think on an individual level, he's able to do that with his horsemen, reveal their true power and reveal what's true to them and how to harness that. And I think to reveal the weakness, how weak we've become, you know, because this is an ancient entity. So to come to, what is it, 1983, I think it is.
I think it's 83.
Right?
Punk rock.
And to just be like, how did the world become so weak? How did we allow ourselves to be ruled by the weak, to enslave ourselves? I think that's where he's coming from.